Welcome to Tioms. Time is on my side, making technology work in your business. This is our e-learning portal where we provide free of charge training videos, quizzes and associated example downloads. If you require further information or assistance with training, please contact us at Tioms. Thank you. For this session, we'll start to look at the project templates. There's 3 templates in this particular session, and they are meeting documentation, how to hold meetings properly and ensure you're recording the actions. Project startup, the single page description of the project, and the 6 hats, a way to review your startup document and decide whether it's worth moving forward. Here we have the template for meeting, action and control. This is a very straightforward Microsoft Word document. All of these documents that we see in the deep templates do not require Microsoft Office to open them. If you haven't got a copy of Microsoft Office, you can download for free OpenOffice, and that will allow you to access these documents. So this document is very straightforward, very simple to use, and can be used as the agenda for the document, for the meeting, and also to record the things that go on and who's responsible for them. So you can see that at the top we have the title of the project or what the meeting is, the date and the attendees. We've got the item numbers down the left hand side. Now that can be useful if there's a whole long set of meetings. Maybe a project goes on for 6 months or 2 years or whatever it might be. And if you keep the item number recorded, so a unique item number for everything that's on the meeting document, then you can use that over time. You can look back and refer to specific items very easily. The description is just a short description of what's to be discussed or actioned or whatever it might be. Then the column in the middle is the summary of the agreement, actions and responsibilities. This isn't like taking minutes, it's not detailed minutes of every word that is said per person, but just a reasonable reflection of what was said under that particular item. Followed by the person responsible. Now, the person responsible should really be just one person. Sometimes you might put 2 or 3 people or all or something like that if it's an action that everybody is responsible for, like reading a document, for instance. But normally, to ensure a specific action gets done, you should have one person responsible, and then you can hold them responsible for that action. Finally, the complete by date is the date when you expect this particular item to be completed by. When this document is filled out, and the note taker should be agreed at the first meeting or each meeting, depending how you're going to run the meetings. But once it's filled out, you would expect that to be issued to all of the attendees within 1 day of the meeting. It should be sent by email. The attendees should be asked to respond with any additions, changes, complaints or anything like that within 2 days of that email. Otherwise, you say that the meeting notes are taken as accepted by everybody. That way, you don't get into these problems of people not responding and then a month later saying, well, I didn't agree to that. So unless they have responded within a couple of days, then the notes for that meeting are taken as read. Now, for the next meeting, I would expect you to use the same document, just put a new date on it, and then all the outstanding items are still there. Other items can be written as completed, and new items could be added to the top, for instance. You could think of also that you may want to put priorities on. So where you've got the item number column, you could have another column and put priorities in there. So you maybe have priority 1 to 3 or high, low, medium, something like that. So these are flexible documents that you can change according to the project that you're running. So that's it. That's the meeting document template for Deep. Now we come to the Deep template for a project or idea startup. So this is where you've got an idea for a project or just an idea of something that you think might be worth doing. And you want to present that to people without filling out hundreds of pages and going into any vast amount of research or anything like that. You just want to get down on 1 page, 1.5 pages at the most, some information about the project or idea so that you can kick it around with your peers and your managers just to see if it's worth spending any time and or money on. So you give the project a title and a date, and then the introduction is just a few lines giving you some idea of what this thing is and why you would do it. So a very short paragraph, the sort of the elevator speech introduction of what this project is and why would I do it, followed by a short description of what actually would be done. So what actions would be taken from start to end of this project or idea, and what would be the expected value or benefits from doing this thing. So sometimes benefits are tangible and clear. We're going to save a certain amount of money or whatever. But sometimes projects will have a real value, but no monetary benefit. So it might be great for morale or something like that. This section here is, we'll discuss in the next template, the 6 Hats review. And this section is really a summary of the outcome of that. So we've met with our peers and we've discussed the first 3 items on this startup document, and there's a result of that. So we put the result of the 6 Hats review and the names of the people who were at that review. And then finally, using all the information above, we get to the point where we can make a recommendation. So we've looked at this project or idea, and do we now think it is worth proceeding or not? And there's a sign off on the bottom as well. Now, I wouldn't expect people to sign this with a pen and then scan it or anything like that. We really need to make sure that everything is kept electronically. So here we're saying the recommendation approved by, put somebody's name, or if they rejected it. But at the bottom here, you can see that we're saying that the notes sent by email are accepted to avoid the use of scanners and paper. So we don't need a physical signature. So the project startup document might be short, but it's extremely important because it outlines the project, and you can always go back to it and say, this is what we said we were going to do, very simply, and it can clarify any further discussion as you move through the project. Project Deep template for an idea or a project startup. Now, as referred to in the previous template, the meeting startup, this is the 6 Hats meeting control document. So we use this template in Deep to record the discussion or the summary of the discussion and comments that have gone on during the Six Hats meeting. Now, as we said previously, the meeting itself for Six Hats should be pretty quick. It should only be 10 to 15 minutes long. And it's to give you that idea of, is this thing worth it or not? So we'll quickly run down the Six Hats process again. This is a very simplified version of the process. You can go on a day-long course to learn how to run a Six Hats meeting, but I don't think it really needs that amount of information. So the rule is that everybody is wearing the same colour hat at the same time. Not physically, of course, but mentally you're all wearing the same hat at the same time. And what it does is makes you concentrate on that particular thing, and you're not allowed to bring up something that you would talk about with a different colour hat on until you change to that colour hat. So the blue hat just is like a control. It talks about the process and the agenda and what you're actually there for at that day. The white hat identifies the information that you have and potentially would also identify information that you don't have and you should really collect and possibly have this meeting again. The green hat covers ideas. So we've got a project to solve something. We may already have a few ideas. We'll kick them around, and the basic ideas and solutions to an issue would be recorded there. You don't discuss whether it's worthwhile, whether it's a great idea or not. You just chuck them all in there under the green hat. Then in the yellow hat, you look at those ideas or solutions to a problem and say, well, what is the value? What's the potential benefits from that? You don't look at anything else. You don't look at issues or problems. You just say, if this were to happen in the way we would like, what would be the value to us? What would be the benefits? Then you all put on the black hat and say the exact opposite to that. What are the problems with this solution? What are the issues with this solution? And you just stick to those problems. You don't go back over the benefits, so you've already made those statements. So with a black hat on, it's just your problems and issues that you're interested in. Then the red hat, which is really my favourite one and can often save an awful lot of time, which is the gut feeling hat. So given everything we've discussed, do we think this will work? Now really, if there's 10 people in the session and 9 of them think it won't work, there's a fair chance that it won't work. And unless that other person is an extreme visionary and everybody else is wrong, the chances are it's probably not worth doing this thing. So that can save an awful lot of time and trouble in getting projects going, just by saying, look, the vast majority of us just don't think it's worth doing. So let's end it there and then. Finally, at the end of the meeting, you get back to the blue hat, which ensures that you've got the documentation that has recorded the outcome of the meeting, conclusions and decisions, and then what are the actions following this session, who's responsible, could be the basis of filling out the meeting documentation that we saw earlier on in this session on Deep. So that's it, Six Hats meeting template. All of the templates discussed in the Tioms Deep project management methodology training sessions are available free at www.tioms.com.au. Thank you for trying our Tioms e-learning. Please contact us if you require help with training in your organisation. Thank you.